Okay, Norby Walters. Wow, you've done a lot. You've had an amazing career.
True.
Okay, now you started out as a nightclub owner.
I did. I started out as a nightclub owner in Brooklyn. Started out with a little jazz club, playing people like Miles Davis and Stan Getz and Max Roach and Bud Powell, and a lot of fantastic jazz players of that time, which was called bebop. And as that faded away, we started to book Latin music, like Tito Puente and Tito Rodriguez and La Sonora Matancera with Celia Cruz. So we went from being a jazz club to being a mambo club. That was in Brooklyn, called the Bel Air. And then we went to Forest Hills in Queens, and I opened up a club there called the Flamboyant. Great place. And we used to play a lot of comics there, comedians, people like that. And we were there for a few years and then sold that. And we went to Manhattan, next to the Copacabana, and opened up the Norby Walters Club. The first place was Norby Walters Bel Air, second place was Norby Walters Flamboyant, and the third place was straight Norby Walters. And that was right next door to the Copacabana, in the same building as the Copa, the old Hotel 14. And there, I used to play lounge groups, terrific little lounge groups, just like you would find in a Vegas lounge. And that's what we had there, until I finally decided to sell that and get out of the saloon business, which I've had it after 15 years, and I decided to become an agent. And I started to being an agent by booking small lounge bands that you would find in Holiday Inn or the Sheraton, the Marriott, things like that, and in little clubs around the tri-state area. And little by little, it became an important little company booking lounge bands. And in 1973, I stumbled onto a girl. We made a record. Her name was Gloria Gaynor. And she made a record called Never Can Say Goodbye, followed up by I Will Survive. And she did. Because today, 35 years later, she's still working off that record. And she was terrific. She really was a wonderful singer. And the record was great. And because of that, I decided to give up the lounge bands and strictly book name bands, name acts. And I made a direct move towards black music, which was the music that I loved, called R&B, you know, rhythm and blues. And I loved R&B, and I still do. And so I made my moves on the great R&B bands of the time, which were Rick James and Shalimar and the Whispers and the Commodores and the OJs and the Four Tops, all of those wonderful R&B bands. And then we started going after bigger acts, even after Luther Vandross and Teddy Pendergrass and Marvin Gaye and Patti LaBelle, you know, really the top of the top. And I was at the top. We had about, well over 150 named attractions, bands and singers and stuff like that. The company became quite large and very successful. But after doing it for 20 years, I kind of got tired and decided I was just going to give it up and move to California and hang out with my sons. They were here. One son was my son Gary Michael Walters. He was an attorney doing movie deals. My other son, Richard, was out here, also in the music business. And my third son was also in the music business, Stephen. And so I sold the company, and that was 25 years ago. And I never went back to work. I've been chilling. And I booked all the rap acts. Before I got out of the business, I had the very first rapper, which was Curtis Blow. He did These Are the Breaks. And then we had DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, which is Will Smith. And then we had LL Cool J. Then we had Ice-T and Ice Cube and Queen Latifah and everybody else. Right? All the kings and all the queens and all the Ice Cubes and all the rappers. But, you know, you do something for a period of time and it stopped being exciting. So we moved here to California, and I had been helping out in New York. I'd been helping out a producer doing a thing called the Night of 100 Stars. And at Radio City Music Hall, since I knew so much talent, I helped him. And he died. And I came out here, I said, gee, maybe I'll continue the Night of 100 Stars. And I did, and it's on now. And on Sunday, March the 2nd, will be our 24th year of the Night of 100 Stars. So that kind of brings us up to date, and that's why I'm proud to be an American. From the mountains to the prairie.
You're not leaving that in. Okay, but now you have these like wonderful like poker nights every week with a bunch.
Wednesday night poker game at my home. Yeah, we have about 100 actors that we rotate. Every week 8 players. Every week 8 players. Every week 8 players. Every week 8 players. And we rotate them, and we have lots of wonderful actors, you know, Sharon Stone and Mimi Rogers and Jennifer Tilly and Frances Fisher and you know, Joe Beth Williams. We have lots of gal actors, and the guys, we have everybody. You name them. If they're a working actor and they play poker, they play at our table. Just everybody, without naming names. I will just take a look at some of the people here. And I have Joe Bologna, Jesse Metcalf, Harry Hamlin, Robert Wool, Jason Ritter, Joe Cortese, and Hal Linden.
Well, all in one poker game?
All in one game. Here's another game with Harvey Korman and James Ferrantino, Charles Durning, my son, Joe Bologna, Kathy Lee Crosby, Rob Schneider, and Mimi Rogers. So it's just they're all here. Everybody's here. Jack Scalia, Joe Bologna, Michael Lerner, Dan Lauria. So the whole place is there. We have well over, as you can see by all these pictures on all the shelves, and all over their pictures.
Yeah.
What we do is, if somebody gets a straight flush, they sit down, and all 8 actors are around them, and Irene takes the picture, and I send everybody a copy of the picture for their souvenir of their day at the game.
That is so cool.
It's very cool. And they love it, and they're proud to be here on that day, you know, so they always have the memento. You know, they have pictures, a lot of the guys have pictures when Rod Steiger, God bless him, was alive, and pictures with Milton Berle when he was alive, and pictures with Charles Durning, and pictures, you know, with so many, so many wonderful actors that are now gone. It's really very sad. But life goes on, and a lot of our actors aren't in good shape. My pal James Garner, who was one of our regulars, my pal Sid Caesar, one of our regulars, they're not in good health. Jerry Vale, great singer, not in good health. And so they don't play anymore. But it's been a wonderful thing. It's a great tradition, and everybody here in Los Angeles knows the game, even if they don't play. If they are poker players, they've been here. And that's every poker. Actors only. We have no civilians. No civilians.
Okay, for those who don't know what a civilian is.
A civilian is a person who's not an actor. A civilian is a person who is not an actor.
Okay. Okay, and so some people don't know that, it's like, so it shows me that people do know.
Well, now you know.
Yeah. Okay, you had Chinese restaurants in New York too?
Yes, I did. While I was in the nightclub business, I also built a big restaurant in Howard Beach, Queens. That was a 180-seat Chinese restaurant.
Oh, wow.
And then a year later, I opened up a 300-seater in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn. And I had this Chinese partner. He was my cook in my first nightclub in the Bel Air. He was the cook. And I had so many people coming to the club, not so much for what the club was doing, but for the great Chinese food. So I said, someday we'll open up a Chinese restaurant. And we did. And it was very successful. Very. And I had that for 20 years. The second place was not so successful, and it lost about $300,000. That was not thrilling. And I am talking of $1960. How much would that be today? Oh, my God.
Yeah, like a lot more.
Oh, my God. It was a fantastic, incredible place that we built. And today's, we built it, I built it for about $200,000. In today's money, that could be $2 million. It was an incredible place. Anyhow, it failed. For the fact is, I didn't have a good parking cars situation, and people couldn't park, and they went to a different restaurant. Anyhow, that's about the story, except that America is burning.
Okay, now how do you meet Mrs. Walters?
How did I become Mrs. Walters?
Yes.
Oh, we were kids. We were kids back in Brooklyn. We met each other when we were just kids. We were about 16 years old, and I loved her right away.
Oh, so sweet.
I kept chasing her. She wouldn't go out with me. But finally, she did. And then finally we got married when we were 20 years old.
Oh, wow. And you have 3 kids later. And
3 beautiful sons, and that's a lifetime ago. Married 50 years ago.
Oh, wow. Congratulations on your golden anniversary.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
I keep asking her, what are we trying to prove? People say, what's the secret? What's the secret? I say, we have a simple secret. We still go out twice a week for a little dinner and a little dancing. She goes Tuesday, I go Thursday. That's a Henny Youngman line. I stole it. It was a great line.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Okay. And what's the beautiful thing is that we still have fun. You saw her. She was here before you. When you just started, she was here in the house. And she has a great sense of humor. That's very important. And I like to be funny. And she gets it. And never tires of my stupid jokes.
And she's also very sweet, too. She is.
She's fabulous. And she took care of me. She takes care of me. She took care of the business. She was my controller when I had the whole agency. Big, doing lots of business, millions of dollars. She took care of it all.
Wow. So she's beautiful and smart.
That's correct. She's beautiful and smart.
And she's very sweet, too, which is good. Great combination.
The most important thing in a marriage is a sense of humor. It's very important. And when you go to sleep at night, even if you had a beef or an argument, Go to sleep with a good night kiss and sleep well. Very important. Can't let it carry over to the next day. And we never have. And we fight every day. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You see, the truth of the matter is we very rarely fight because we're always on the same plane. We both like the same things. We laugh at the same stuff. We like the same films. And I go with her whenever she goes shopping. She likes me to come along and give her my opinion about what I think of what she wants to think of buying.
Oh.
Because she wants to buy to dress for me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. She feels if I like it and she likes it, then it's good. If she likes it and I may not like it, she says, no, I don't want to take it. Because if you don't like it, I don't want to wear it. So that's how good we are. Me, I wear Tommy Bahama shirts. I have a very simple wardrobe. Tommy Bahama shirts and a tracksuit. That's it.
Except when you go out, for like.
Well, I go out. Last night we were Mr. and Mrs. Black. I wore black slacks, a black turtleneck, and a black sport jacket. And she wore a beautiful black dress, long sleeve dress, but put a black jacket over it because it was a little chilly last night. So she didn't want to go with just the dress, put a black jacket. So that's the story of Norby Walters. And originally, when my father came from Poland, the family name was Czechanowicz.
Wow, and why had to change it?
Yeah, well, he changed it because when he landed in Ellis Island, they said, "What's your name?" He said, "Yossel Czechanowicz." How do you spell it? He said, "I don't know." He didn't know. He knew Russian, Polish. So they said, "What's your father's name?" He said, "Meyer Czechanowicz." Okay, Joseph Meyer. Next. So he went in. He became Joseph Meyer. When I was born as Norby Meyer. And then the first nightclub that I owned in Brooklyn, the Bel Air, I was going to go partners with my brother. And his name was Walter. And my name was Norby. So we were going to call it Norby and Walter's Bel Air. So it came opening night, and we had a fabulous sign made. It was opening night with Tito Puente. And we look up at the sign, and the guy left out the ampersand, There was no and. It just said Norby Walters Bel Air. So what are we going to do? The guy said, "I'll come back Monday and fix it." I said, "Well, what can we do?" So we go inside, and I'm standing there, and people walk in, say, "Hello, welcome." They say, "You Norby Walters?" I said, "No, I'm Norby. He's Walter." The guy left his hand out of the sign. After 4 people, they said, "You're Norby Walters?" "I'm Norby Walters." "Who's he?" I said, "I don't know who that is." He became Walter Nobody. Oh my God. And if I tell you, it disturbed him his whole life because I became Norby Walters. And his name was Walter Meyer. And later in life, he changed his name to Walter B. Walters. So that's what it was, and that's how I got my name, and that's how I got in the club business. That's how I became an agent. And that's why I'm proud to be an American. And here I am doing my 24th year of the Night of 100 Stars at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And tickets are available at $1,000 a piece if you want to come and hang with the stars. Thank you very much. And the next show will be in 20 minutes.
Thank you.
Bring on the dancing girls. The dancing girls are coming. Get the fire eaters. We're going to have the fire. We're going to have a show right here. Don't block the midway. Police don't like it when you block the midway. I'm going to guess your mother's first name. Come on in. Hey, look. I'm going to guess the type of work your father does. And if I fail to do it, you're going to win a prize. That's right. Give me the $1, you'll try for the prize. I'm going to say if the little girl weighs about, by golly, she might fool the guesser. It's my old shtick. I did that shtick when I was a kid. I worked in the circus. Mm-hmm. I worked in carnivals and girly shows and racetracks and everything. From the time I was 8 until the time I was 12, I went on the road. Summertime. my friends were playing with tickets. They were playing with tickets and with Pesach nuts, and I'm out there working girly shows. It was pretty strange, you know. I come home, I'm 11 years old. They said, "How'd you do?" I said, "Hard to explain." Girls are bump, bump. I'm 11 years old. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" It was fun. It's been a great life. It's been a fun life. Naturally, there's a little bumps and warts, which we don't have to talk about. Let's let the good times roll. That's all I say. So thank you very much for coming by to say hello. And if you're nice, you get a few dollars for yourself. I don't want you to be a kid. Bring out a few dollars for her. That's it. And cut.
Cool. Thank you.